Okay, so pretty much recently I tried tried to do a solo prophecy. Of course, on my very first attempt I managed to do it, but to do so I needed a specific gun. But I'm gonna tell you guys, was the gun worth actually getting and all of that. So let's get into it. Okay, so Mountaintop. It's one of the pinnacle weapons. If you don't know what a pinnacle weapon is, it's a weapon with a quest behind it that you have to do. Very difficult quest, one of the crucible weapons. The reason this is such a good gun is due to its micro missile perk, which means this weapon fires in a straight line and has a massive increased projectile speed. The best thing I love about this gun is it's not like any other grenade launcher. It's not like the Malicious Birthright. I used Malicious Birthright for a long time. It wasn't bad. It did exactly what I needed. I used blinding grenades to just blind enemies so I could kill them with my secondary or whatever, so I can, I don't have to worry about them firing at me or anything like that. But you had to hit your target directly. And that's where Mountaintop really shines, is you don't have to hit your target directly. You can hit the ground, you can hit literally anything, and it will just explode on impact. And I think that makes it an amazing gun. I haven't had this gun for long. It's not easy to get at all. The requirements for it, you have to complete the Triumph, which is, the Triumph is in Crucible, and then you go to Glory. And then if you go to Glory, it is right here, in Pursuit of Honor. And pretty much the In Pursuit of Honor Triumph, you have to complete all these. I'm pretty sure the top one is just getting kills with grenade launcher. It can be secondary or heavy, either one. To do the rapidly defeat enemies, you just have to get double kills. And the bottom one is just medals earned, earning medals while using them. The most difficult one here is going to be the opponents rapidly defeated, because you have to defeat 2 opponents one after the other. With Iron Banner, when it was here last week, it was very, I wouldn't say easy, but it only took me 2 days of grinding to actually be able to get there. So it wasn't the worst thing. But I would 10/10 recommend waiting for Iron Banner or doing this in Survival. If you do it in Iron Banner, your progress is doubled. If you go into Survival, your progress is tripled. So to show you guys what I used to kind of acquire Mountaintop, what I decided to use was I used in my top slot, in my bottom slot, I'd use some heavy grenade launcher. Whatever I'd want to use in this case, I used this. But you can also use like an interference with like clown cartridge, full clown, all that stuff. But in my second spot, I used Truth Teller, and that one of these two works fine, just a grenade launcher in a secondary slot. And then I used Wither Horde. And the reason I would use Wither Horde is mainly because of one reason, is when it puts a blight on the ground, you can really deal some damage. And if you can get a kill with that blight just by sticking somebody, then hitting somebody else with one of these, it becomes very easy to be able to get those kills, especially in something like Control. Super easy. Now, using everything here to your ability, I was able to get in 2 days. It was not easy. The hardest part of this entire thing was those like secondary kills, the opponents rapidly defeated. That will be your biggest challenge. But after you complete that, and of course, you're going to have to want to pick up the quest over here at Shaxx. I don't have it there anymore, but it will be down in the quest area. It should be called like the Ascent, I think. If I'm correct, that's what the quest is called. Pretty much you just have to reach Brave, and then after reaching Brave, you complete the quest, the Mountaintop, one I just showed you guys. And then you actually have to reach Fabled in Survival and or Glory rank, which is not that hard. If you have a team, it's very easy, but if you don't have a team, then it can get very annoying very quickly. But it's definitely possible to do it all solo. I did everything here solo, and it was 100% worth it in my opinion. Now, I do know, if you don't know, sunsetting is coming up. And with sunsetting coming up, you kind of have the whole problem of this thing's going away. The highest this thing can go up to is 1060. This thing's not going to go up or anything like that. It is being left behind after this season, and there is not many days left in this season. So with that being said, since there's not many days left, in total there's 54 days. If you're wanting to solo Prophecy, I would recommend this gun 100%. I was able to solo prophecy with this, with Mountaintop, Recluse. I did use Trinity Gold, but that was just ad clear for one part, which was the very first part. If you haven't checked that video out, go check it out. But I mainly used Recluse. I did use the Ruinous, but you don't have to, yet again. And then I also used Anarchy and a Sword and Xenophase. All these combined allowed me to be able to do the dungeon. I also did use Izanagi's Burden, but you don't have to. And it's just swapping these out for different things, like using the sword on certain parts. Like I'd use the sword for the very first part, then I'd use Xenophase for the second part, and then for the third part I'd use it. That easy for heavy weapons. Most of the time I always had Recluse popped on, but you can also use like Gnawing Hunger. That's fine. The second phase, or like the between first and second phase, I did use Ruinous, but you don't have to, so that's fine. And then for the most part, I had Mountaintop equipped 24/7. The only time I took it off was actually in the first encounter where I used Izanagi's Burden, because it one-shots knights if you have it honed, and I just needed to kill a knight really quickly, so bang boom. But you can use any sniper, or like I said, you could the Mountaintop. I would recommend using Mountaintop if you do have it. You do want to solo prophecy, and I will get into solo flawlessing prophecy. I do want to make a video on every encounter. I already made one to make the other encounter, but I want to do the other 2 encounters to kind of help you guys out with those. But I would 10/10 recommend getting Mountaintop if you don't have it and you want to do PvE activities and or PvP. I mean, PvP, this thing is like the cheat killer. Like if you find somebody who's cheating, using the Mountaintop is how you get rid of it. And that kind of, I feel like that's kind of like, wow, like why? But it's reasonable. It one-shot kills. You can hit the ground, you can deal damage, things like that. It's insane. So yeah, I don't use this thing much in PvP. I really don't. I use it in PvE, and using it in PvE, it is absolutely insane for DPS. And if you're trying to solo prophecy, I'd recommend it. Do you need it? No. You do not need it. I soloed prophecy using actually Wither Horde, Recluse, and Fallen Guillotine with a Well of Radiance. You don't, like, if you're using a sword, you're probably going to have one well or bubble, but for the most part, it is possible to do it that way. You do not need Mountaintop. By no means necessary you need Mountaintop. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct, you can get the Wither Horde for free, right? Yeah, you can get Wither Horde for free this season by reaching just rank 35. So in all, you can get this for free, and you can get Wither Horde for free just on the season pass alone. And then adding in a Gnawing Hunger with Substance Rampage, there you go. That could be your Recluse replacement. You could easily flawless. Now, the hardest part is going to be that second phase where I'd recommend having Xenophase. But if you have another light machine gun, or anything that can deal with the hobgoblins and knights, I would use it. Now, like I said, I will be making another video on how, like, what I used, like what equipment did I use, what guns did I use. My armor was not the best. It really was not the best at all, by no means necessary, but it did what I needed it to do, and that's all that mattered. And I was able to do it, and I did do it legit, and I wanted to make sure I did it legit. I know there's the coin flip glitch that a lot of people used to do it like unfair, and I didn't want that. I did not want to do that. If I was gonna solo flawless prophecy, it's gonna be from my own work and my own doing. So I decided, I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it on stream so people know I did it legit. So yeah, but that's kind of it. If you want to get Mountaintop, I'd go for it. 10/10, best PvE weapon. One of the best PvE weapons for yes. This is a loadout I've been rocking for a while now, and I'm still rocking. Anarchy, because it just does the damage I need it to. Mountaintop, because it really does the other damage that Anarchy, it has like that overtime damage. Switching to Mountaintop allows you to output a whole lot of DPS there. And then Recluse for ad clear. But I would recommend using, if you want to get it, if you feel like you want to get it, go for it. But if you don't think you're going to use it, don't go for it. You'll only have 50 something days left. If you want to solo flawless prophecy and you think you might need Mountaintop, then go for Mountaintop. I thought I would need it, and I did, and I used it, and it made it really, really easy. It was my first attempt doing it solo flawless, and bang, easy. I actually did manage to do it. So if you want to do that, 1010, Mountaintop's the way to go. But if you're not going to, if you feel like you're not going to be using it, I would not, it's too heavy of a grind. It is too hard to grind for when you're only going to have it for a few more days. So maybe if you're bored, you can go for it that way. But for the most part, I would recommend trying to keep it, or try to get it if you need it. But if you feel like you don't go for it. That is my honest opinion on the gun. Really good, but only viable for a few more days, or a few more months, shall I say. I think it's like 2 months that we have left. So yeah, but other than that, I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you guys haven't already, I do have a Twitch. Go check it out. I have a whole bunch of different things like Discord, stuff like that, which I find to be just absolutely fun to hang out with you guys, talk with you guys, and play around on stream. I play a lot of different games. I play a lot of Destiny, but I also try to stick some stuff in there to play with all of you. Go check it out down below. Yeah, so I hope you guys all enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next one.